Hey there and welcome back. So let's deploy our API to render.com. So the first thing is that we have to log in. I think I'm logged in already right now, but let's just sign out so we can see how this works. So you can click the sign up button and you can use GitHub or GitLab or Google or your email and password. But let's just, so it's up to you, yeah. But I've already created an account, so I'm just gonna click sign in with email and password. So let's hit the sign in button. So we can see here we don't have any websites or anything at the moment. So I'm just gonna click on new web service. And this will allow us to connect a GitHub repository or GitLab repository, or we can input a public Git. So two different ways to do this. I'm just gonna copy the link here from GitHub. So I'm gonna copy here. We can see, click on the button there, and then we will go back and paste that information into here, and let's just hit continue. And now we need to input some details for our API. And I've already done this, so I have some information ready. The REST API. We have the region. Let's go with Frankfurt. We have the branch. I have two different branches for this GitHub repository, so I'm just going to select main. And if you are, if you've saved the source code file in the source folder, then you can specify that right here, the root directory. Then we have to specify the runtime, and we can see it's set for Node. That's so fine, but it supports other runtimes as well. We also need to provide a build command, and it says yarn at the moment. I'm just going to select npm install, and this will get all the Node packages set up in the Node modules. So that's why we're not committing Node modules to GitHub. Then we have the start command, and the start command is usually just npm start. That's going to run the server. And we also select the type of instance, how much we want, free or all the way down to Pro Ultra. Depends on how much scalability and power you need, and then you have to pay some extra money. Then we have a button here called Advanced that will give us extra options here, and we actually need some of those because we have an API that connects to a database, and so we need to specify some things from the .env files, like the port and the token secret and the JWT expiration time there. So that's one thing. The other thing is that we can allow render to run a health check, and this is a path that we specify, and it has to be a path that will always return 200 if the server runs. And we actually have such a thing in our API because we have this welcome route that I've created, and this just returns 200 and then a message. So this is not connected to any database. So that's so fine there. So I'm just gonna choose that here. I've provided this information just before. And then we will type in our environment variables. So we have the port, that was 4000, and we also have the token secret, and the token secret was very secret. So let's type in that here. Probably you should change this if you are going into production with your app. The JWT expires in, that was 24 hours. And we also have the database host here. So now we have it. We should have all the settings set up properly. If we hit the create web service, let's see what happens. Then render should start to deploy. We can see we have some output from the deployment process. It will clone the GitHub repo and run the npm install. And since we're selecting the free plan here, this might take several minutes to complete. So I'm going to be back when it is done. All right, so we can see that Render has completed deploying our API. We have a live sign here and the health check has run. So it should be okay. Let's just click the link up here. It says man REST API ESV on Render, and if we go here it says cannot get, and that's because our the route is not defined. We have to go to API/API, and if we take ducks, it should run Swagger. So we can see here we have Swagger up and running, and now it's the drop down for the servers is set for 4,000 localhost. So that it doesn't work, of course, because we're not running on localhost. So we get an error because it runs there. So you have to select the correct server there, but if you do, it should work. We get data from the database. So everything should be working with our environment variables. So that's good. And we probably also have the authorization up and running, I think. If I copy an ID and I go to the delete route, this requires authorization here. So I need to provide a token. So if I don't do this, I get access denied. So yes, this is more or less what I wanted to show in this video. I hope you can all make this work and have fun with this. The next step is that we might change this just a bit, because when we need to do CI/CD, we have to modify this a bit, because right now Render will deploy basically anything that will be committed here. So if I commit a new version to GitHub, it will trigger Render and it's going to start a new deployment. And this is not optimal because I need somehow to run some tests first. And then if the test passes, then I want to instruct Render to deploy. So we're going to see this in later videos. This is all for now. I hope you can make this work and have fun with this. Bye bye.